Dhananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shirupam Sagrajatam Samanagunatam Tang Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Samgamita Shri Vishakamitam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikmakanta Radhakanta Namastate Bhaktakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullaravindayatapatra netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Yanmaya Deepaha Prapanna Parijataya Putra Vetreka Parnaye Yanamudraya Krishnaya Hitamrita Duhe Nama. So we are studying chapter 14, right? So that's what we have been studying, the three modes of material nature. In the last class, we discussed about um, how the three modes, they condition a living entity. Correct? If you remember, the mode of goodness, it conditions by two qualities. What are those two qualities?
Knowledge and happiness.
Knowledge and happiness. Yes, correct. And mode of passion, it conditions by which quality?
Fruitive action.
Fruitive action. Correct, very good. And then mode of ignorance, it conditions by which quality? Hmm?
Madness.
Illusion and madness.
Illusion. It puts one in illusion. And there's madness. And there's also sleep or laziness. So that's how one gets conditioned, which means if mode of ignorance is heavy on me, I'll also be lazy in doing my in my duties. So I have to chant Hare Krishna. I know that it's my duty to chant Hare Krishna. But then when mode of goodness, ignorance will prevail on my consciousness, my chant now, whole day is there. I can chant anytime. Now let me rest. Let me do something else. Hmm? So it will basically postpone. The mode of ignorance will postpone. That's the nature of mode of ignorance. So we stopped at verse number, I think, 8, right?
Prabhuji,
No questions now, please. We have questions at the end. So we stopped at verse number 8, right? We did 8. Hmm? So let's do verse number 9. Chapter 14, verse number 9. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanam avritya tu tamaha pramade sanjat yatyuta. O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance, the mode of ignorance conditions one to happiness, passion, conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Perfect. A person in the mode of goodness is satisfied by his work or intellectual pursuit, just as a philosopher, scientist, or educator may be engaged in a particular field of knowledge and may be satisfied in that way. So, a person who is in mode of goodness is basically satisfied in himself or herself, in what he or she is doing. That's what keeps on motivating that person. And then a man in the mode of passion may be engaged in fruitive activity. What inspires more a person in passion? Result inspires. They are always running after result. You know. In mode of goodness, people are more inspired by cause, not the result. You understand the difference? I want to work for a certain cause selflessly. Uh, So their whole life they'll be just working very hard for that cause. They're not much concerned about whether it's going to give them a lot of profit, any material return. They are working for some cause. And then those who are in passion, they're always working because they are inspired by result. What will be the result of my activity? So as long as that inspiration is there, they'll continue to work very hard. He owns as much as he can and spends for good causes. Sometimes he tries to open hospitals, give to charity institutions, etc. These are signs of one in the mode of passion. And the mode of ignorance covers knowledge. In the mode of ignorance, whatever one does is good neither for him nor for anyone. If a person is drinking alcohol and just wasting the whole day, it's good for no one, neither for that person nor for anyone else. If someone is taking addiction to drugs is there, that person is crazy and he's also not helping anyone else. Mhm. So this way, 10, verse 10. Rajastamas chabhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajah sattvam tamaschaiva tamam sattvam rajastatha. So these modes they keep on fighting with each other, which means that not that only one mode is always going to be prominent. Sometimes Rajas will defeat Sattva, sometimes Sattva will defeat Rajas, sometimes Tamas will be the winner. So this is how it happens. So what controls the influence of these modes on us? Our past karma, basically. Mm. It's our past karma which kind of triggers the modes. So when the triggering is happening, then we are forced to act, being influenced by a particular mode. Okay. So in this way, there's always competition for supremacy. So this is very interesting if you think about it nicely. There is not just competition outside ourselves in the world around us. There is competition also going on inside us. Which mode will control us? You know. So what happens when you are in a competition? I mean, you're always in anxiety because one thing is pulling you into one end, another thing is pulling you to some other end. And you will feel like torn apart, isn't it? Mm. So this is what happens. So when the different modes are controlling us, in the morning we wake up, we feel like something. By the time the sun is on our head, our mood changes and we feel differently. And by that time it is going to set, then I'm a different person. Mm. So it's like, I'm struggling with myself. If there's too much of competition of these modes, then you are not exactly the same person always. So this is problem. And therefore, um, this is very interesting. There is a competition around us, and the whole world is teaching us you should be the winner in that competition. You should be the best. If you're a student, be the best student. If you are preparing for some entrance examination, be the best. If you are working in some company, be the best, right? If you are running a business, you should be the best. But no one is telling us to look at the competition which is going on in our mind, being controlled by the three modes. No one is telling us try to be a winner there, win over these three modes. Uh, that no one does. Right? So we waste so much of time in just winning in the external world, and we become a loser in the internal world. Right? Externally, I'm a winner, but mentally, I'm a loser. Correct. So that is like totally useless way of living life. Purport. Sankarshan Vishnu Prabhu. Read, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
And,
When the mode of passion is prominent, the modes of goodness and ignorance are defeated. When the mode of goodness is prominent, passion and ignorance are defeated. And when the mode of ignorance is prominent, passion and goodness are defeated. This competition is always going on. Therefore, one who is actually intent on advancing in Krishna consciousness has to transcend these three modes. The prominence of some certain mode of nature is manifested in one's dealings, in his activities, etc. In his activities in eating, etc. All this will be explained in later chapters. But if one wants, he can develop by practice the mode of goodness and thus defeat the mode of ignorance. And Prabhuji, kindly scroll it. But if he wants to, but if one wants, he can develop by practice the mode of goodness and thus defeat the mode of ignorance and passion. One can similarly develop the mode of passion and defeat goodness and ignorance, or one can develop the mode of ignorance and defeat goodness and passion. Although there are these three modes of material nature. If one is determined, he can be blessed by the mode of goodness, and by transcending the mode of goodness, he can be situated in pure goodness, which is called the Vasudeva state, a state in which one can understand the signs of God by manifestation of particular activities. It can be understood in what mode of nature one is situated. Next, kindly scroll, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
after
kindly
that,
over.
yeah,
Okay.
over. So, Srila Prabhupada puts here in the purport But either one should get rid of this entire competition of the modes by transcending the modes, or at least one should try to support the mode of goodness and cultivate goodness defeats mode of passion and ignorance. So that's why you see why Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna. Arjuna was a warrior, and actually the whole message of Bhagavad Gita is you also have to become a warrior, and you have to fight against what? You have to fight against your own consciousness, your lower nature. You know, that's what Bhagavad Gita is about. Therefore, Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he wrote books with the title Spiritual Warrior. That we are at war, and we are at war with what? Our own mind, our own conditionings, our own ways of thinking, desiring, feeling, willing. So Bhagavad Gita is telling you have to become a winner there. You know, so you have to win in the game of life, right? So here it said either we transcend the three modes, or at least we should practice cultivating goodness so that this goodness will defeat ignorance and passion. Hmm. Otherwise, what will happen is, I don't know how will you take this or you'll understand this. If you're a good person today, there is no guarantee that after 5 years you'll remain a good person. You know why? You're a good person today just because mode of goodness is dominating you. And then let's say after 5 years, because of past karma, if mode of ignorance starts dominating you, then you become a bad person. You're understanding? So sometimes we see people in this world, they are so proud. I am a good man. I'm a good woman. I'm very kind-hearted. I'm very soft. I'm very compassionate. I'm very humble. I'm very gentle. I'm very polite. I'm very honest. I am this. I am that. And then they think this is the glory of their life because they have such some of these good qualities. But these good qualities are not going to remain forever. Why? Because these good qualities are not are actually inherent qualities. These are qualities which we are showing due to certain circumstances. Are you able to understand? Mhm. The goodness that we demonstrate in this world as a human being, that goodness is not really our inherent goodness. It is because of circumstance. Mhm. Because of circumstance, we are behaving in that manner. Like Kamsa, yeah, he was such a good man. Was he not a good man? Kamsa, he was a very good man. How do you know that he's a good man? Who will here become a driver, you know, of the sister when she's getting married and she's going to her in-laws' house? Who will become a driver? No one will become. But Kamsa said, I'll become a driver. A good man, publicly he's taking such a humble position, right? Becoming the chariot driver. But what happened to his goodness? One message from the sky, and the goodness was all finished, isn't it? So that goodness is circumstantial goodness because of circumstance. So similarly, people in this world, they are good, they're bad, we may tell they are in between. But it's all because they are being played around by illusory energy. They are like play toys in the hands of Maya. Today Maya is making me good, tomorrow Maya will make me a great sinner. Something like that it will go on. You know? So that is not really a big achievement. The achievement is if I can go beyond the three modes. And to start and to make that happen, I have to start from where? I have to first come to the mode of goodness. You know. And then from goodness, I transcend to pure goodness. So that is called Vasudev state. So when I become pure goodness personified, when who was Vasudev? We know who was Vasudev. Vasudev is the name of Krishna's father. So he gave birth to Krishna. So the acharyas, they say, when we become pure goodness personified, then we will be also able to give birth to pure love to Krishna. That state is called Vasudeva state. That's why his father's name is Vasudeva. But only Vasudeva can give birth to Krishna, which means only pure goodness can help us understand Krishna, be with Krishna, realize Krishna. Hmm. So the rules and regulations which are given by an acharya in an institute like iskcon, Srila Prabhupada gave to us, all those rules and regulations, most of them primarily, of course, they are there to help us come to love of Godhead, but they also help us to first come to mode of goodness. What time we should get up, what food we should eat, you know, what we should read, what we should hear. It helps us to come to goodness, and then from goodness we can transcend to pure goodness, right? So it requires an efforts. It requires efforts. Without efforts, not going to possible. Next verse.
Prabhuji,
Sarvat.
if
uh,
Prabhuji, if one is determined, he can be blessed by the mode of goodness. The if determination is there, then it means that past karmas can be defeated.
yeah. Of course, why are you asking this question here? If you can't change your past karma, then what is the hope? If I can't change my karma, then what is the hope? How will I then go back to Godhead if I can't change my karma?
Okay, Prabhuji, got it.
We should
How
understand this thing that
In an,
karma can be changed, and
in
if
an,
karma cannot be changed, then what is the use of all the good instructions given in the Shastra?
how can we remain in mode of goodness all
This
time?
this is. Can I complete my answer to Sankarshan Vishnu Prabhu Shweta Mataji? So, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu gives this argument. If there is no chance of a person becoming free from the influence of good moods, or let's say changing one's nature, or changing oneself from a bad man to a good man, karma cannot be changed. Then what is the use of all the Shastras?
Prabhuji, few days I heard a lecture, Kutam, etc. I don't remember at present.
Okay, we'll
Something,
discuss in when that will come in
if it's something, this something can be
Nectar of
changed.
Devotion. We will discuss it there.
Yes,
It
yes,
will come
and
in Nectar of
something can
Devotion.
be changed and something
Yes,
cannot be changed.
yeah, it will.
Yes, it is.
We'll discuss
I
that
don't.
definitely.
I'm not able to
What
recollect that.
cannot be changed, so you should also know now. Then what cannot be changed? Like you have a certain kind of body, right?
Hmm.
What is the gender of that body? Male. Now you can't change it, no. How much ever should bhakti you do, you'll not become a woman
Hmm.
next day, right? So there are certain things like that which cannot be changed. But then how would you want to change it anyway? Let's say by doing bhakti, would you want tomorrow I become a girl? No, you will also not desire any change like that. But you will definitely desire a change like if I was a sinful man, I should become now a pious man. So what is desirable that I should change and it is possible, that will be allowed. But there are certain things which are fixed, which I cannot change. That's okay. We don't have to bother about it anyway. Hmm. When it comes to things which are becoming obstacle to growth in Krishna consciousness, those things will get removed. There are obstacles to your material growth that may not get removed. So, as a spiritual practitioner, why would you be bothered about those obstacles anyway?
It
Right?
means line can be drawn.
Hmm?
It means line can be drawn.
That can be true. But you don't know how to draw that line. Only
Yeah,
Krishna
you
knows or
have to
Yamaraj
draw.
knows. We don't know, right? What will be allowed, what will not be allowed. That they will decide.
He will decide.
Hmm. Correct? Okay. So yes, Shweta Mataji, what were you saying? How to be always in goodness? First of all, we should know what is goodness. And then we should engage in activities that will develop goodness. Then we can remain in goodness. First of all, we
Mm,
should understand what is mode of goodness. So we have already read, right? Mode of goodness means you are not influenced, you are not under the mode of passion and ignorance. Ignorance means dullness, laziness, sleep, hmm, lamentation, fine, procrastination, no desire to perform one's duty. That's ignorance. Passion, if I'm doing something, I'm doing only to get some result. I'm too, I get easily frustrated if I don't get what I want. There's a spirit of competition in my nature. I would like to compete with others, get ahead of others. So that is passion. And goodness is what? You are peaceful, you are dutiful, you don't look happiness outside you, you look happiness inside yourself. You are happy doing what you are supposed to do as a matter of duty. And you can do it regardless of people appreciate you or criticize you. You
so
have a very disciplined life. Please
if I
listen first. You should listen and first of all absorb what you are hearing. I said so many things. So please absorb that first. And that's a lot. So if we remain like that, then we can win goodness. So we have to cultivate like that. We follow a disciplined life, a routine life, you know. And in this way, along with practice of bhakti, we may be able to come to platform of goodness.
uh, can I speak?
Yes.
Uh, if we are in mode of ignorance more due to certain conditions of our body and mind, which you know, so we are in mode of goodness also. Like we are attending Krishna con, we are trying to chant. But I feel if we are in mode of ignorance, passion little bit is also there. How should we help ourselves?
We continue doing what we are doing. It will take time. If you have a chronic disease, that disease doesn't get cured in 2 days. It takes months and years. So similarly, our problem is chronic. So we have to follow the process. It will take time. If you are thinking, I'm not getting and I'm not getting, so that means you're not patient enough. So you have to be patient.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So this is also another nature of, don't take it personally, but this is also another nature of passion. What is that? It takes away our patience. So then we want things quickly, but we should know it's not going to happen like that. It will take time. In fact, if you are really a good observer, you'll observe something from this whole creation of Krishna, and then you will come to this understanding. Anything that happens fast is not solid enough, you know, which means things that take their own time and they happen organically, they are solid. That's why it is said by someone, if you get quick success, you quickly lose it also, right? But if you get success after a long time with a lot of hard work, then you don't lose it. So that's why it's nice to wait for good thing. We should not be impatient about it. We should know if it is good, I have to wait. I should wait. It will come by time, right? So that thing should be that's this all we'll discuss in Nectar of Instruction. Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami teaches us what should be our attitude when we are practicing Krishna consciousness. All right, so let's go to we become humble also. Definitely we become humble. We become humble because we understand that it's not easy to get valuable things. If you study scriptures, I was just 2 days ago reading a book about the pastime of Bali Maharaj. humiliated by Vaman Dev, right? So one thought came to my mind. You study all the stories in Bhagavatam, whether it is about a devotee, a demon, or a demigod, you will come to note this that it's always mentioned if these personalities they achieve something, they achieve by doing a lot of austerities, correct? Isn't it? If, for example, Brahmaji created the universe, so he did austerity for thousands of celestial years, correct? Uh, Similarly, Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, they did austerity for thousands and thousands of years. Mother Aditi, she got Vaman Dev as a child. So she did austerity for 12,000 years. So I was thinking, why this is always mentioned that whether you are a devotee, you are a demon, you are a demigod, they did austerity for 10,000 years, thousands and thousands of years. I was thinking about it. So one point came to my mind that Krishna is trying to teach all of us. You want something in this world, you will have to work hard. You will have to work hard. You will have to put efforts for good amount of time. Then it is going to come to you know. And this is all material. There's nothing spiritual here. But still, to get that thing material, they had to do hard work for thousands of years. So if we are trying to get something spiritual, which is going beyond the three modes, is a spiritual, achievement. Krishna Prema, spiritual achievement. We have to work hard for a long time, right? That has to be there. So this is okay. Done. Next verse. Sarvadvareshu dehismin. So this is, when the mode of goodness comes in me, I see some symptoms of it. No, when fever comes to me, I see some symptoms of fever. Similarly, when good mode of goodness comes in me, I see some symptoms of it. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vivritam sattvam ityuta. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced. And I'm telling you, you can actually experience it. What is this verse telling? You can actually experience it if you're a little conscious. When mode of goodness will come to you, what will happen? All the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Now, what do we mean by that? We have these gates, eyes, ears, nose, mouth. These are gates, right? Uh, So the nine gates we know in the whole body, right? So all that they become illuminated by knowledge. What does it mean? The gates become illuminated by knowledge, which basically means the eyes become illuminated by knowledge, the ears become illuminated by knowledge. So what does it mean? It means that whatever sensory experiences you have in this world, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you smell, you will not become disturbed by it. You know, and you will see things the way they are. An ugly thing will look ugly, and a beautiful thing will look beautiful. You know, but if let's say the senses are controlled by mode of ignorance, what will happen? What is beautiful will look ugly. What is ugly will look beautiful. So when mode of goodness comes, the natural characteristic of that will be you will be happy without any reason. And there are some days like that. When you get up in the morning, you're just happy for no reason. So that means now you're a little bit in mode of goodness. Okay. So this is what happens. Prabhupada writes in the purport. When one is goodness, one sees thing in the right position. That means also very interesting, huh? Now I'm reading this verse of Bhagavad-Gita. Let's say while I'm reading it, I'm in mode of ignorance. So what will happen? I'll not understand this verse. Or I'll misunderstand it. Tomorrow I open the same verse. I'm in mode of passion. I'll understand it differently. Then I open this verse, I'm in mode of goodness. Then I'll understand it the way it is. So one is able to see the things in the right position. Therefore, why in the Vedic culture you needed any guidance, you go to a Brahmana? Why? Why? Why not go to a Shudra for guidance? Because Shudra is in ignorance. How will he or she give good guidance? He will only confuse you, or give you wrong guidance. But if you go to a Brahmana, then a Brahmana will show, okay, this is reality, this is wrong, this is clear. Clarity is there. Hmm? Fine. Okay. So this is another quality of goodness. There is clarity in goodness. Clarity. Purport. Were thine imagery.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There are nine gates in the body: two eyes, two ears, two nostrils, the mouth, the genitals, and the anus. When every gate is illuminated by the symptoms of goodness, it should be understood that one has developed the mood of goodness. In the mood of goodness, one can see things in the right position, one can hear things in the right position, and one can taste things in the right position. One becomes cleansed inside and outside. In every gate, there is development of the symptoms of happiness, and that is the position of goodness. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hmm. So we, in goodness, this is something very interesting that you are happy. Every way you are happy. That also means that you'll not feel any kind of inconvenience, you know, mentally, physically. You'll be very normal, happy person. Always. So the means goodness is prevalent at that time. Next,
Hare
passion.
Krishna, Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
Yes, Madhuri.
So there are some people, it's not necessary that they are in a mode of, I don't know in which mode they are, but sometimes no matter what you tell, there is no capacity for them to understand, right? Without being derogatory, right? It's just that their brain capacity is only so much. But does it necessarily mean they are in ignorance, Prabhuji?
Yes, it is the quality of tamas that it makes one dull, right? But you should also know that if someone can understand everything very nicely, it doesn't mean that person is in goodness. That
Right.
person could also be in passion.
Yeah.
So very sharp intelligence is not really a quality of goodness. Very sharp intelligence is a quality of passion. Goodness basically means in your mind you are a very, very content person, happy, you know. And passion means you can manipulate a lot. So, and intelligence does the manipulation.
Hmm.
So if you are a big problem solver, you should know I am in passion. Okay. If you are a problem buster, then you are in passion. So that is because of very, you can say, active intelligence, material intelligence. In goodness, the mind is very peaceful, calm. Therefore, you don't have to be an intelligent person to be a brahmana. You have to be a peaceful person to be a brahmana.
That's true.
You know.
Prabhuji, can we control the mind?
Yes, you can. You can. I
Means,
mean, yes, people can. Definitely. If it's not possible, why would Krishna tell Arjuna?
but I
Possible.
find it very difficult to control the mind.
What- Do you ask everyone sitting here whether they find it easy? Ask them. Ask them. Ask everyone. Prabhuji's Mataji's. How many of you have controlled your mind? Tell everyone here who has controlled. So it's difficult for everyone. So we have to keep on trying. right? You're not an exception to that. Everyone is difficult. Even Arjuna said it's difficult. So you have to keep trying. Uh, That's the only way. Next verse. Lobha pravittir arambha karmanam ashamah spriha rajasyetani jayante vridhe bharatarshabha. A chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment. So passion produces attachment, too much of attachment, you know, to things, to people, to situations, fruitive activity, intense endeavor. You really, really, really want to work very hard because you want something desperately. And uncontrollable desire and hankering develop, which means, desire is so strong that basically that desire is making you numb, helpless. That's passion, uncontrollable desire. So passion does that. I mean, uh, passion is like that only. It makes one mad. Okay, let's read the purport. Varshana Leela Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport. One in the mode of passion is never satisfied with the position he has already acquired. He hankers to increase his possession. If he wants to construct a residential house, he tries his best to have a palatial house, as if he would be able to reside in that house eternally. And he develops a great hankering for sense gratification. There is no need to sense gratification. He always wants to remain with his family and in his house and to continue the process of sense gratification. There is no cessation of this. All these symptoms should be understood as the characteristics of the mode of passion. Thank you,
Hmm.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So this is mode of passion. Too much of
Prabhuji,
attachment is there. Yes.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Um,
madam.
Prabhuji, many a times we have heard that this spiritual anxiety is good. For example, let's say, and what I understand from that is, let's say if we are organizing some event or festival and we have certain such responsibility, and then we are very anxious that how it will be done, or so is it all under again the mode of passion, and is it all okay to be that way for that purpose?
Good question. Yes, so spiritual anxiety is nice. Is That's not wrong. That's good. Like we are trying to do some seva and then we have anxiety in that. We're trying to please Krishna or please Guru or please Vaishnavas and then we have anxiety in that. So it's nice. But then at the same time, we have to be also very conscious about what. Am I really doing it for Krishna's pleasure? Am I really doing it for Guru's pleasure? Or am I doing it just for my own ahankar, ego? So this is a very, very thin line between material and spiritual. As soon as my happiness comes, then it becomes material. And as soon as it is for Krishna, then it becomes spiritual. So it's a very thin line thing. So now if that has to be seen, if it is that way, then it is spiritual. That anxiety is very nice. But if it's not that way, then that anxiety is material.
Yes, Prabhuji, because I have seen certain devotees who will be very, very happy doing their things, and even if they are organizing things go not so well,
That is
they are fine with it. They can, they are okay. They know, okay, this is that way, and yeah, the other way also that, yeah, it quickly brings anger and the consequences, reactions from some people,
yeah,
and
correct.
things falter.
So that's why now in this way you can't judge actually. This is something which you can't judge for others. This is something which can only judge about yourself because we can't really know who is who and why is he behaving in that way. Let's say if Srila Prabhupada is in front of me and I don't know that Srila Prabhupada is a great devotee, and I see Srila Prabhupada taking anxiety for some seva of Krishna, then I may think, be little cool-headed, Prabhupada. Why are you taking so much of anxiety? Be normal, it's okay. But then I don't know. He is so pure. Maybe he is thinking that way. So we can't really judge for others because we don't know who is who, right? We don't know who is who. So we have to look for ourselves, that's all. For someone else to judge for us is very difficult because we may misjudge in many ways, right? And we don't know at that moment why that devotee behaved in that way.
Mm.
I'll give a quick example. I mean, not an example, I explain you a scenario. Let's say someone is practicing devotional service. So in Nectar of Devotion, we'll study that there's something known as Bhav Abhas.
Mm.
Bhav Abhas means you are not really at the stage of Bhav, but because of some circumstances, you experience Bhav. So when you see a devotee behaving in a certain manner, do you know that devotee is at the moment experiencing Bhav Abhas or that person is behaving normal? Now, let's say at that moment that person is experiencing Bhav Abhas. And in that Bhav Abhas, that person has shown some kind of anxiety. All right. And after 2 minutes, now that person has lost that Bhav Abhas. And now that person has come to his or her normal state of behavior. And looking at that normal state of behavior, that devotee doesn't seem to be a very good devotee. And then now, if you think 2 minutes ago, what that devotee was doing a drama, then you are committing offense at the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi because that devotee was doing it under the influence of bhavabhas,
Mm.
right? So that's why to judge a devotee's activities, even a sadhaka's activities, we have to be very careful because we don't know what is happening to them at this moment, why they're behaving in a certain way, right? And that
Yes.
is the reason it is said that you should not mind, uh, you know, with what is happening in others. You should be more careful about what is in your own Krishna consciousness. Until unless you have been given this duty by Krishna or spiritual master, okay, become a monitor or a coordinator or a guru or a guide, then otherwise we may misjudge many times, we may just judge wrongly. It's possible.
Yes. And
You have
Prabhuji,
read
one
this book
last.
of Indradumna Maharaj, his latest book,
No,
mm,
Prabhuji.
no, Traveling Monk, Memoir of 50 Years of Service. It's a very nice book. You should read it because Maharaj shares lots of experiences in his preaching activities, and some very nice stories are there, real stories. And in one of those stories, he tells how he misjudged a person, and later on, he realized that that person was quite a nice devotee. Okay. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Some
Abhavas.
will study Nectar of Devotion.
Okay.
Yes, Vashana Lila Mataji.
Prabhuji, this even in this translation, we were hearing that the intense desire. So this intense desire for material thing is mode of passion, but when it is for the bhakti, when we see in the pure devotees, it is that pure in pure goodness, Prabhuji. Then that intense desire or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hanker.
yeah. That is because of pure goodness. That intensity is not because of passion. That's because of pure goodness. But the intensity of that is also very interesting, na? In passion, if there is intensity, you will see that there will be frustration also if you don't get it fulfilled. But in goodness, if there is intensity, then there is the result of that non-fulfillment of that intensity is not frustration. It is greater intensity.
That is what we see in Prabhupada when he was in
Yeah, yeah,
India and
that's
he
what you
was
see in
trying.
Prabhupada.
lot, and
Correct.
he was not getting successful all through the while.
His intensity increased. We do not become frustrated. That's what you see in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was mad in Krishna Prem. So his madness increased. So in pure goodness, it's like your intensity increases more and more and more. But then that is something which we cannot experience because our material body cannot contain that much intensity. This is what Rupa Goswami says. The spiritual emotions are too strong for the material body to take. So if those spiritual emotions come into material body, the material body will collapse. Therefore, for spiritual emotions to be experienced, we need a spiritual body. Material body can't take it. It's like 40,000 volts. You apply to an electric bulb which can only take, you know, 5 volts. What will happen? The bulb will burst. Similarly, our material body is something like 5 volts. And spiritual energy is something like, 40,000 volts or 1 lakh volts. It will burst. Okay.
Thank you
Pure
so much.
experience now.
So,
Pure devotee can experience.
yeah, if they're pure devotee and perfect pure devotee, they have gotten a spiritual body, then they can experience.
Okay. In this material body also, they go into lila, but we don't know.
Yes, if they're completely pure, they may go to Leela also.
Okay.
But then that body is no longer material. It looks like material. You see it as material, but it is not material. So Srila Prabhupada, when we see Prabhupada, okay, he looks like us, but that body is not material. It's spiritual body. Okay. All right. Let's go to next verse. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasi tani jayante vivrithe kurunandana. When there is an increase in the mode of goodness, ignorance or son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. So when there is mode of ignorance attacking us, the result of that will be what? We will be in darkness, which means our intelligence will not function properly. Confusion will be there too much. Then inertia. Inertia means I don't feel like doing anything. That's called inertia. I don't want to do anything. Right? So that's it. In simple words, my life has no purpose, no aim, aimlessness, no direction. So there is inertia. Then there is madness. You know, madness also means foolishness, which means what that person speaks, what that person does, people find it very abnormal. And then illusion are manifested. Okay, purport. Hare Kripa Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, no pranam. Purport. When there is no illumination, knowledge is absent. One in the mode of ignorance does not work by a regulative principle. He wants to act whimsically for no purpose. Even though he has the capacity to work, he makes no endeavor. This is called illusion. Although consciousness is going on, life is inactive. These are the symptoms of one in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hmm. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. So now it's mentioned that if we die in one of these modes, what will happen to us? Where will we go? Goodness means better life, materially better, spiritually better, you know. So that is goodness. So it doesn't always mean you will go to a higher planet. It can also mean on the same planet you may get a higher birth, right? Better. So that is goodness. Purport. Sarveshwar Jagannath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. One in the goodness attains higher planetary system like Brahmaloka and Janaloka, and there enjoy godly happiness. The word alam is significant. It means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. There are impurities in the material world, but the mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. There are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planet where the great sages and great devotees live. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. Next. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinas tamasi moolayonishu jayate. When one dies in the mode of passion, it takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, it takes birth in the animal kingdom. Okay. Oh, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Some people have the impression that when the soul reaches the platform of human life, it never goes down again. This is incorrect. According to this verse, if one develops the mode of ignorance, after his death, he is degraded to an animal form of life. From there, one has to again elevate himself by an evolutionary process to come again to the human form of life. Therefore, those who are actually serious about human life should take to the mode of goodness and in good association transcend the mode and become situated in Krishna consciousness. This is the aim of human life. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that the human being will again attain to the human status. Hare Krishna.
This is very interesting to know. And sometimes I think, at least by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, so many people have saved themselves from going to animal life. Going back to Godhead, it's very difficult. But at least going back to animal life, so many people are saved from that. You know. Otherwise, definitely, that would have been the destination. But
But
some other coming in contact with Krishna consciousness, doing some bhakti, doing sadhu sangha, giving up sinful activities. At least human life is guaranteed. Next life. Mm, that much is there.
Prabhuji,
Mm.
just a small question. Uh, Prabhuji, I'm controlled by certain medications. So because of that, I am in mode of ignorance and other modes also, but ignorance is dominates many times. So what should I do and where will I go? Means animal kingdom or
Are you dying tomorrow?
but my disease is chronic. I don't know.
So don't worry, no. You're chanting Hare Krishna, so Krishna will give you next human birth at least. Even if you, let's say, have a chronic problem and you're dying soon, you'll get human birth for chanting Hare Krishna. But if you are going to live for next 20, 30, 40 years, then I'm sure in 40 years, this problem will get cured to some extent, if not fully. Right. So
Oh, serve
we have to be patient.
Guru and Prabhupada in this state.
Hmm?
How can I serve Guru and Srila Prabhupada and Krishna in this state?
Whatever way you can serve it, you serve, that's okay. We have to do save as per our capacity. So whatever is your capacity at present, you serve in that way.
Okay.
Then
Prabhuji, I have a question.
there's promotion to a higher capacity. Now, if in our capacity we are thinking of serving in a capacity which is beyond our, you know, scope now, then that is not really nice now. So a squirrel cannot serve like Hanuman. A squirrel can serve like a squirrel. So that's how we should be content in what we can do. But we should do it with 100% sincerity.
Prabhuji, I have a question. So it is clearly stated in the previous purport that when we do something, we can clearly get a lower birth, right? That is understood because we're human beings, either consciously, unconsciously, are doing something, you get to that level. But what about like slightly the unconscious ones, right? Or where the consciousness is lower, like plants and other things.
There
On
is
what
promotion.
basis do they?
There's promotion.
It's just time based.
Whose time waste?
Like for example, how does a plant or any other animal kingdom ones, right, how do they get to the next, like we
That
are
is
doing
by default. By default. We should
okay,
know that only a human being is responsible for his actions. Plants and animals are not because they don't
right,
break any law of nature. They just function the way they are designed to function. So for them, there is a natural promotion
okay,
cycle. They go to the next higher level, higher level, higher level, higher level.
okay, Prabhuji.
It's only humans who can go up, go down, remain wherever they are.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So yeah, so the others are there, they're in the loop. They don't get out of the loop. Okay, Ram Raga
Hare
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna
Uh,
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Who's saying?
Hare
Okay,
Krishna
two
Prabhuji.
people are talking. Srinivas Prabhu, Achha, okay, go ahead. After that, Ram
Yes,
Raga Prabhuji, you can ask. Yes.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
sattva guna becomes dominant over rajas and tamas, and rajas becomes dominant over sattva and tamas, and sometimes tamas becomes dominant over sattva and rajas. So why do these three modes of nature constantly compete with each other?
Because of our past karma. Our karma makes them work like this. We have karma, no, from past. So
Hmm.
our karma is going to anything that is going to change in our life is going to change through the modes. The
Yes.
modes are the medium,
Yes, Prabhuji.
and our karma is always changing. So there is always a constant in physics we use this term called flux. So there's a constant flux of three modes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, uh,
Hey, it's just a second. Ram Nagar Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, so I mean, you are answering for the previous question, right? How humans are different than the animals or trees. Is it because like we have that intelligence and discretionary power, we can choose always what to do, and sometimes the decision may be against the law of nature, and that's
Yeah.
when we get trapped in the results. Is it?
Yes. Yes. Plus, we have been given this freedom. Animals are not given that freedom,
Mm,
but we are given that freedom. So there's a problem of misusing the freedom, no?
mm, yeah.
That is the problem.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji had one other question. I mean, there's always a thin line between the mode of goodness and passion because in passion, sometimes we do a lot of things which appear to be like in the mode of goodness.
Like,
So, like for example, somebody is like doing bhakti also in a lot of passion, and it's very difficult to say whether the person is in mode of goodness or in passion because in the course he also caused distress to other people, or
That
he
person is
creates.
in goodness also, and that person is in passion also. Why? Only one mode will not be there, na? Sometimes this is working, sometimes the other one is working.
Mhm.
Like a Brahmana is mostly in goodness, but a Kshatriya has a mixture of passion and goodness. So those are managers, coordinators. They have some goodness, but they also have passion. So as a manager, they will sometimes misbehave also, or they'll become a little harsh.
So Prabhuji, when the misbehavior is done for a greater cause, or so is it
Still it's a
still it is a
misbehavior.
misbehavior? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
so it's a misbehavior. In iskcon, I don't know why this thing has come. Doing things for a greater cause, so then you're free to do anything. This is a concept which has sprung up in our society. Things become allowed just because it is being done for a greater cause. But we should know there is also a dharmic way of doing things. No, you can't
Mhm.
always take to the dharmic way of doing things and say I'm doing it for a greater cause. And that means should be adopted when the right way of doing things are not working. When I should do the wrong way, though, you should try to understand. Let's say, for example, I'm trying to tell you something. So I should first tell you very nicely. But then if you don't listen, then I can slap, isn't it?
Mhm.
For a good cause. But I begin by slapping only, that's not really nice. So there's a right way of doing things. So we should first go for that. Now, if that doesn't work and the other person is not cooperating or things are not happening, then I may try the wrong way. So I can say I'm doing it for a higher cause. But I can't just start with the wrong way, right?
Thank you,
Isn't
Prabhuji.
it?
Yeah. Mm.
So
Yeah.
this has to be there. Um, but that's what sometimes we don't have that sense also. Um, mm, the sense of what is right, what is wrong. We function in our own way of thinking what is right, what is wrong. Like in India, people don't think it wrong to push someone aside, if you want to go ahead. In India, people don't see it as wrong. So many things of that kind is from our sanskar, from our background, cultural background. If let's say you are a devotee, you are not a devotee, and you never follow traffic rules. Now you become a devotee, still that sanskar of not following the traffic rules is inside you. So now also you don't follow the traffic rules. So someone tells you, Prabhu, you should follow. Then you'll say, for a higher cause, we can do anything. But it's not that for a higher cause you're breaking the traffic rule. It's just your sanskar, right? Hmm.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
So this has to be there.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Some
Prabhuji,
question.
Prabhuji, gunas on one side and Dakshinayana Uttarayana on the other side.
Hmm?
How
What on the other side?
Dakshinayana, death takes place in Dakshinayana Uttarayana. Death
Uttarayan.
means moon or sun, like
Ah, okay, okay.
okay, one side, and there's guna is on another side. Are
Yeah.
they
Related to each other.
related to each other, or one affects the
Yes.
another or not?
Yes, yes. You should know everything is affected by the gunas. Gunas are the most, you can say, fundamental elements of everything that exists. Gunas are the most fundamental. Even when you say time in this world, the way time is functioning, it is influenced by gunas. Everything here. Whatever you see around, just put your eyes around, whatever you see. The wall, the photo frame, water, fire, air, the sky, right? Everything is gunas. So how can anything be free from its influence? The place you are when one is dying, that is also influenced by gunas.
It means that gunas dominate, not dominate, I'm using the wrong word. Gunas
Affect, influence.
facilitates, influence,
Uh,
facilitates the result in
yes,
a major,
yes, very much.
in a major
Very,
way.
yes, yes, completely, because everything is made up of gunas.
And time factor is
Everything.
secondary. Time factor is secondary.
Time factor, and they are working together.
It's
Time and
secondary
goodness.
aspect.
No, time is going to influence, the time is going to inspire the gunas to function in a certain way. Now you should, I don't know what you mean by time here. Are you talking about Kal? If you're talking about Kal, then Kal is an energy of Krishna which kind of mm, makes the gunas function. Mm. So if you're talking about Kal, then it's Kal working on the gunas. If you're talking about time, 6 a.m. in the morning,
Time.
9 p.m. in the night, then you should know that is very much related to the gunas only, because the gunas are making you experience it in a certain way. Understand? The gunas are making us experience it in that way. So let's go to the question now. Uttara and Dakshinayan. It will be influenced by the gunas only. And that thing we should know, what we discussed, if a person dies in Uttarayan, it only applies to a yogi. It doesn't apply to everyone.
उत्तरायण क्या होता है?
Uttarayan means when the sun is moving north. Sun moves north, sun moves south. Uttarayan means sun moving north. Dakshinayan means sun moving south. Okay, Dinanath Prabhuji, you put something in the chat box. What is it?
I mean, that is related to the question asked by Ram Raghav Prabhu.
What is the question? Yeah. Focus in ISKCON has shifted from a missionary-based movement where people sacrifice everything to one where in space is given to the individual. Although this is a natural shift for any spiritual institute to undergo, the, the importance of somehow sharing Krishna with others cannot be neglected. Yeah, so that is there. But that doesn't mean Maharaj is telling here about breaking the rules to preach Krishna consciousness.
Yes, yes.
Basically, he's talking about people becoming too centered about their own
Mm.
life, not sacrificing for benefiting others.
Yes, Prabhu.
So that missionary spirit is missing in ISKCON, and that is very true. We like to do things in our own comfort zone. We don't try to get out of it and sacrifice to help others, isn't it? So that is missing. It's not just missing individually, it's also missing on the bigger level. I can give example for that. Let's say a temple is doing very well, then that temple should also be kind to other temples, isn't it? Let's say a temple has 100 brahmacharis, they only need 60. So then they should send those brahmacharis who are extra to other temples where there is deficiency of brahmacharis. So that's how it's not functioning now.
Yes, Prabhu.
There are temples which are full of brahmacharis who have nothing to do, and they're just sitting idle. And in that way, they are damaging their own spiritual life. And there are temples where they desperately need good brahmacharis, and there's no one there. So many ways that spirit of sacrifice is missing in ISKCON now, because we have become more my temple, my Guru Maharaj, my congregation, my Bhakti Vriksha, my Sangha. It's becoming too much my.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think this
But
is
we
one
have
of the
to.
reason. Sorry,
Hmm.
Prabhuji.
Yeah,
So
this is
I
one of
think
the
this is one of the reason why people, when they have any fallout with a temple or with an organization, they move away to establish their own um, reputation because they cannot practice bhakti, and this is why we see there are so many divisions within.
That is because there is no broad-mindedness,
Mm.
basically. We have to become more broad. And broad-mindedness only comes when there is growth of consciousness. So that is not happening. That's why people are so petty-minded. In the sense, okay, everything should be nice, but in my temple only. Everything should be nice, but in my bhakti only. Everything should be nice in my sangha only. So that is narrow-mindedness. Prabhupada did not think like that, isn't
Yes,
it? If
Prabhuji.
Prabhupada would have thought like that, then he would have never made an international society for Krishna consciousness. No. So we need people in our movement who can also think like that.
Mm.
You know, in my own experience, so many years now, I've seen very few devotees in iskcon who have come out of this biased mentality that this is my Guru Maharaj's disciple and this is someone else's disciple. Majority of the devotees in the movement are biased. Very few you'll find who are open-minded. So such things are basically plaguing, the devotees, these wrong conceptions. And that's why we see, so what Kadam Kanam Raj is saying that we should come out of all that. Should come out of all that. Then only we can grow well. Otherwise, no, that it's not going to happen.
Mm. Yes, Prabhuji. One additional question to this. Like sometimes when we are caught in this storm, like for example, like there is an entity where they want to focus on their own programs and want to convey to devotees that don't go to the temple. So how do we how do we resolve that situation? Because do we need to go where our heart wants us to go, like maybe do seva in the
Mm,
temple
mm,
or
No, if you have to first of all know who is right and who is wrong.
Mm,
First thing is that. So if let's say the group who has gone out of the temple, away from the
mm,
temple, they are right. Then if they are right, and we also feel that we have similar interest with them, so we can be with them, we can work with them, we can support them. But at the same time, we have to also tell them you can't just be independent,
mm,
right? Even if you are correct, you can't just be independent. Why you can't be independent? Because this institute and whatever you do in this institute can only survive for a long time if everything remains connected to the institute.
mm,
Otherwise, in 20 years, we as a separate group may achieve a lot. But what after those 20 years?
yes, Prabhuji.
Then there is no future for it,
Correct.
you know. So that thing people don't understand. They think, no, we will continue, things will continue. It will not continue because if the things are continuing in ISKCON, it's not continuing because of people. It's continuing because of Srila Prabhupada. He is there, that's why it is continuing. You know, if you talk about myself, I didn't join ISKCON because of anyone other than Srila Prabhupada. He was like my first anchor. You know, that's why I joined ISKCON. Whomever else I know in ISKCON, whether it is my Diksha Guru, whether it is my Siksha Guru, they are all pure devotees of Krishna, but they are what they are because I know Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? Correct.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that thing will make me serve in this institute even if things go wrong because my anchor is still there, right? And people don't understand this. So when they get separated from the institute, basically they're getting separated from Srila Prabhupada.
Yes,
That
Prabhuji.
they should know very well. So things might be wrong in our institute, and we don't disagree with that. But if we disconnected from it, then we are not doing something great. We can do something great if either we remain connected to it and it become better, or if you are getting disconnected, you are only getting disconnected for temporary time to get reconnected again. You know, that should be there. Like two examples I'll give. Radhanath Maharaj and Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. They disconnected from the movement for some temporary time period, you know. But later on, they did something wonderful. And then when the movement said, "No, come back," so they did not say, "Now we'll stay away only." Then they came back, you know, they came back. So Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj came back. It was not that he told people I'm going away, but there was some kind of, you know, Gopinath temple was not seen as iskcon basically. You know, so then Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he went once to Gopinath temple and then he told Radhanath Maharaj that please come back. We should be together, serving as a family, one family. And Radhanath Maharaj was waiting for that day to come, you know. When can we be united again? So like that, if a person is thinking like that, then it's okay. You know, sometimes you may have to, like, if I want to do something nice and I'm not getting support from people around me, I may take some, you know, okay, let me go away, let me do something nice. But then why I'm doing it nice? To actually bring it back to the main thing now, which is Srila Prabhupada's Institute. You know, so that spirit should be there. But if that spirit is, I'll do nice separately and I always will remain separate. That's not good.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. But sometimes in order to, as you said, we need to judge what is right or wrong. Do we rely on our own intelligence there, or do
You
we?
can also ask people,
Mm,
because my opinion may not be always the right opinion.
mm,
So you can also ask people if I'm doing the right thing,
yes, Prabhuji.
right? Like I'll give you an example. Of course, this example I don't share publicly, but because it has come out. So I was in college, I got associated with some devotees, and they were coming from Juhu temple to preach in our college. But then after some time, there was a friction between the temple management and the devotee who was preaching in our college. You know. So then that devotee preacher decided, I'll just be separate from iskcon and I'll do things on my own. Maybe that was a political, you know, a diplomatic, you can say, way of dealing with things. So he uh, voiced out his, uh, mind in front of other boys who were with me, and they all decided to be with this Prabhuji. Okay, we go out of iskcon, and we'll sometime will. But I did not like that idea, so I stepped out of the group. I'll be. It's okay. I don't mind doing that. I'll be alone, but I'll not be with you. And then I went to the temple and I joined the temple, the Mumbai Juhu temple. I was living there. So I was alone at that time, very alone, because now no friends. I have left them or they have left me. Either way, we can see it. So that time, I was in the temple. One day, I was doing morning walk with my Guru Maharaj. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Gosai Maharaj. Was just initiated few months ago. So I was in the lift elevator with Guru Maharaj, and then Maharaj asked me very, softly, "You didn't go with them?" Because he knew I am coming from the same group, and you develop attachment to devotees if you have been serving with them for 3 4 years, especially devotees who are with you right from the beginning, because that attachment is the strongest attachment. Mhm. So I told my Guru Maharaj that, Maharaj, I decided one thing in my life when I joined ISKCON: I'll not leave Prabhupada anytime. I'll never leave Srila Prabhupada. You know. So Guru Maharaj, he put his hands on my head and he said, I bless you. I'm very happy. You know. So we can always check with others what I'm doing is right or not. So that time when he said this, I had now no doubts about what I'm doing, completely clear. Now this is right. And later on, what happened? That group also came back to ISKCON only. They had left for some time, but then they had gone because you can't survive actually. You can't survive. outside. You can't survive. It's not possible. Hmm. So we can discuss, we can ask, and it's better to ask superiors. Then they will tell you. Then you'll not have this double-minded problem, this or that or this, and you'll be confident about what you are doing, right? But in
Yes,
general,
Prabhu.
it is safest to stay with the main institute, Prabhu. And if you're
Temple.
going aloof, then only to do something nice to come back,
Mm.
not to be aloof always,
Yes, Prabhuji.
right? So sometimes it's like, okay, I want to do something, these people are not allowing me, but I'm very sincere, so I'll do it. And then after some time, they will realize that I'm not their enemy, I'm actually doing a good thing. So then they may want to now be partner again. So I should be okay for it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji, for
Mm.
sharing your
Yeah.
insight.
And another thing is, again, a big problem in iskcon. Too many centers now. We shouldn't have so much. Right. We should focus more on cultivating people, making devotees individually, not just making centers and then my temple, my deities, my Janmashtami. You know, too much of effort is going in that only.
Yes,
Rather, we
Prabhu.
should be doing something else, which is go meet people, bring them to Krishna consciousness. That should be given more emphasis than my temple, my this, my that. This.
जी ये पॉलिटिक्स इस्कॉन में ज्यादा है या सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में है?
Dunya mein, in this world, it is there. And because institute is part of this world, so it is in the institute also. And what to speak of iskcon? It is in Dwarka also, it's in Mathura also. It was when Krishna was also present. And Krishna is the best politician. So if you have any problem with politics, leave Krishna consciousness. Because he's the best politician, you know. And the way he play politics, you will not even understand. He is so sharp. But anyway, that is transcendental. That was just a separate thing. But we should not be too much disturbed by politics because it's part of this world. We have to accept. Okay, let's read the purport. Uh, we go to, yes, Sharada Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The result of pious activities in the mode of goodness is pure. Therefore, the sages who are free from all illusion are situated in happiness. But activities in the mode of passion are simply miserable. Any activity for material happiness is bound to be defeated. If, for example, one wants to have a skyscraper, so much human misery has to be undergone before a skyscraper can be built. The financier has to take much trouble to earn a mass of wealth, and those who are slaving to construct the building have to render physical toil. The miseries are there. Thus, Bhagavad-Gita says that in any activity performed under the spell of the mode of passion, there is definitely great misery. There may be a little so called mental happiness. I have this house or this money, but this is not actual happiness. As far as the mode of ignorance is concerned, the performer is without knowledge. And therefore, all his activities result in present misery. And afterwards, he will go on toward animal life. Animal life is always miserable. Although under the spell of the illusory energy Maya, the animals do not understand this. Slaughtering poor animals is also due to the mode of ignorance. The animal killers do not know that in the future the animal will have a body suitable to kill them. That is the law of nature. In human society, if one kills a man, he has to be controlled by the Supreme Lord. He has to be hanged, sorry. That is the law of the state. Because of ignorance, people do not perceive that there is a complete state controlled by the Supreme Lord. Every living creature is the son of the Supreme Lord, and he does not tolerate even an ant being killed. One has to pay for it. So, indulgence in animal killing for the taste of the tongue is the grossest kind of ignorance. A human being has no need to kill the animals because has supplied so many nice things. If one indulges in meat eating anyway, it is to be understood that he is acting in ignorance and is making his future very dark. Of all kinds of animal killing, the killing of cows is most vicious because the cow gives us all kinds of pleasure by supplying milk. Cow slaughter is an act of the grossest type of ignorance. In the Vedic literature, the words Gobihi Prinita Matsaram indicate that one who, being fully satisfied by milk, is desirous of killing the cow is in the grossest ignorance. There is also a prayer in the Vedic literature that states Namo Brahmanya Devaya uh, Go Prabhu is it? Yeah, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. My Lord, you are the well-wisher of the cows and the brahmanas, and you are the well-wisher of the entire human society and world. This purport is that special mention is given in that prayer for the protection of cows and the brahmanas. Brahmanas are the symbol of spiritual education, and the cows are the symbol of the most valuable food. These two living creatures, the brahmanas and the cows, must be given all protection. That is real advancement of civilization. In modern human society, spiritual knowledge is neglected and cow killing is encouraged. It is to be understood then that human society is advancing in the wrong direction and is clearing the path to its own condemnation. A civilization which guides the citizens to become animals uh, in their next lives is certainly not a human civilization. The present human civilization is, of course, grossly misled by the modes of passion and ignorance. It is a very dangerous age, and all nations should take care to provide the easiest process, Krishna consciousness, to save humanity from the greatest danger. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So Prabhupada is here bringing things back to the point. This is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purpose. He will bring everything to practicing Krishna consciousness. So this is a skill which Srila Prabhupada owns very well, you know. If you read all the writings of the previous acharyas, the skill you'll see only in Prabhupada's writing. Of course, it's there in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing also. But other than that, you'll find no acharya write like that. And what is it? Srila Prabhupada will start with the material topic and he will very masterfully bring it to the final conclusion of Krishna consciousness. You read any of his purport, any essay, he'll start with the material topic, you know, which people are thinking about, experiencing, they can relate to some problem, some scenario. And then very masterfully will bring it to Krishna consciousness. No acharya does that. No one. You know, no one does that. So he has this amazing skill. Srila Prabhupada has amazing skill. Okay, next verse. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramadamaho tamaso bhavato jnanam eva cha. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Pawan, Radhikeli Siddhimat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly. In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal, they are taking the chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life. Because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous. Even if the majority of the people aren't happy and prosperous, if a certain percentage of the population develops Krishna consciousness and becomes situated in the mode of goodness, then there is the possibility for peace and prosperity all over the world. Otherwise, if the world is devoted to the modes of passion and ignorance, there can be no peace or prosperity. In the mode of passion, people become greedy, and their hankering for sense enjoyment has no limit. One can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion. If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome. He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain his status quo. This is all miserable. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad. Being distressed by their circumstances, they take shelter of intoxication and thus they sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mm. Okay, so the whole world that we experience is primarily affected by these symptoms. More of passion and ignorance are so prevalent. And people are really, really working extremely hard just to earn money, which is actually it's a kind of a punishment. Why it's a punishment? Because a human being should not work so hard. But it's kind of a punishment. You work very hard to get the basic needs, and in this way, the entire time is wasted in it. So then one is forced to behave improperly, and then one becomes entangled in bad karma. Right. So, and there's artificial competition created by people in the society. This artificial competition leads to fear. And when there is fear, then we don't function properly. Because when I'm afraid of my own existence, then I'll start attacking others. Isn't it? So our present day civilization is fear driven civilization. Fear driven. Fear about everything. So all the advertisements that you see is all fear driven. All the promotions, all this, even so many things. You should buy a house. If you don't buy a house here, then your life is waste. You should learn AI. If you don't learn AI, you lose your job. What is this? It is fear-driven propaganda. Drive people by giving them fear. You know. So if you don't brush your teeth using this toothpaste, your teeth will become black, ugly. So purchase the toothpaste. So it's all fear-driven, and fear is something to which we easily get, influenced. So fear is the what do you call the biggest net of people who wants to cheat you. They'll first make you afraid of something, and then they will sell you something which will solve a problem which you actually did not have, you know, and in that way they will loot you. So you go to an astrologer. First of all, the astrologer will make you afraid. Your chart is so bad. this problem, this planet, that planet. And then when we come, oh, so much problem. Can you please help me? So then, okay, this stone, this puja, this. Right? So first fear and then solution. That's all. The whole thing is going on. You don't have a house, so what will happen to you? So that is fear. You don't have this. You don't have this degree. You don't have this thing. You don't have that thing. Right? Hmm? So then one gets affected by it so much. Many people even go to the extent telling you don't have a Facebook account. You're missing so much. You're not on LinkedIn. Oh my God. Uh, Instagram you don't follow. How will you know what is going on in the world? So much of fear. I have to be there just for the sake because I've been missing on things which other people are getting. So that is then problematic. 14-18 ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets. And those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Same thing repeated. Purport. Dinanath Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. In this verse, the results of the actions in the three modes of nature are more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets, where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mode of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in the system. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime reason of this universe, Lord Brahma, resides. We have seen already that we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahmaloka, but the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle between the mode of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of passion, he will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth, in the mode of passion or ignorance, cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the mode of passion, there is also the chance of becoming mad in the next life. The lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality in material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life: birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasaha is very significant here. Tamasa indicates who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without rising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark. There is an opportunity for men in the modes of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness, and that system is called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes. Hare Krishna.
So by practicing Krishna consciousness, this blessing is there that we will be at least not going to mode of ignorance. And of course, a devotee should be feeling sad if one is not practicing Krishna consciousness properly. And we should also feel little morose sometimes. But along with that, we should also be equally grateful for what we have obtained by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So yes, we should not be just satisfied with what we have. We should also desire for better. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that we should not be grateful for what we have. So we should thank Prabhupada that you saved us from at least going back to animal life. We don't know if we would have what we would have done in our life if we did not come across you and this knowledge. So we should thank for what we get. And then we can also desire for something higher, but we should also be equally thankful for what we are getting. It's very important. Otherwise, yes, animal life, mixed life, animal life, then big problem. So we stop here. Any last question or comment? Remaining verses we do in the next class. Tulasi Mata, do you have a question? Okay, you had your hand up for reading. Any question, if you have, you can ask. We'll stop otherwise.
I have small question. Uh, like we are acting in three modes. Sometimes goodness, sometimes passion, sometimes ignorance. For different people, different mode dominates. So different activities will be performed.
Hmm.
So like many times we are in a dilemma whether to do this or not. So then we should think whether it is good for Krishna consciousness or not. So sometimes we doubts our decisions. So that time pray to Krishna or what should we do? Because Guru won't be there always, and I don't know my intelligence is correct or not.
That's why we should pray to Krishna. We should pray to Krishna. We should ask Krishna. If, and at the same time, you should also know one thing. See, Guru Maharaj or Guru Dev is there with for us. But that doesn't mean that only Guru is there. There is Vaishnava Sangha also, na? So we should also take advantage of it. That Vaishnava Sangha is also very important because that Vaishnava Sangha is there to help us, you know. So if we have people in the Vaishnava Sangha whom we trust, with whom we have good relationship, they are more experienced than us. We can also sometimes ask them. We don't really have to always ask Guru about every single thing, especially when things are very petty. You know. So this we should know. Uh, because if let's say Guru is for everything, then you should not eat prasadam also made by other devotees. Then you should eat only what is made by Gurudev. Right? So that doesn't mean that we are trying to minimize the position of Guru. It's very high. It's certainly very, very high. But at the same time, we should know that when we are needing some help, then there are other ways of getting that help also, and that is not against Vaishnava practice. So if I have a practical doubt about something material, I don't really have to always disturb the spiritual master for those things. There might be other devotees who can also help me in that. We just need to have that Sangha with us. So Gurudev or Guru Maharaj is there, but also there are other devotees, and we should take advantage of their association. We can ask them for things. That's okay. We can't always ask Gurudev for everything. That also becomes a disservice actually if you keep on disturbing the spiritual master for every small thing. Okay. So this is something, of course, to you it may appear like a weird example, but I always think like that. We have no problem eating prasadam cooked by anyone. Then we don't even think, is my god brother or god sister, right? Prasadam is prasadam. We don't ask also, are you my Guru Maharaj disciple? No, we accept prasadam. But when it comes to other things, then we become so, Guru centered. Then for prasadam also, we should be Guru centered likewise. Eat prasadam only if it is cooked by either my Guru Dev or my god brothers and god sisters. Otherwise, I'll not eat prasadam. I'll fast. Even if I die, I'll not eat. Then we should have that kind of, favoritism. But that we don't show, isn't it? So when it comes to prasadam, we are very liberal. But when it comes to other things, then we are too like Guru, 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 Guru. So there has to be maturity and understanding things. We are not copying Gurudev. We are trying to understand the principle of bhakti. Right? That's very important. Srila Prabhupada was not a duplicate of Bhakti Siddhanta, no? That doesn't mean that he did not follow Bhakti Siddhanta 100%. Correct? Similarly, we see so many wonderful disciples of Prabhupada who are pure devotees. They are not duplicates of Prabhupada, but at the same time, they are 100% following Srila Prabhupada. So these things we have to understand, and this understanding can only come if you are a broad-minded person. So if you have any doubts on certain things, you ask people who are more mature than you. You don't have to always ask Guru Maharaj only about it. Otherwise, Guru cannot have more than 100 or 50 disciples because he'll be busy then solving their problems only. So this is another thing which has come in iskcon nowadays. You should accept a guru who is always available to you. Why? Is he your servant? He should be always available to you. Is he your servant that he should be always available to you? Any question you ask, he should give reply. Anytime you feel low, he should encourage you. Right? Any problem you have, then he should solve it. Then what is the understanding here? Am I Guru's servant or Guru is my servant? So this is another thing coming up now. People when do IDC, I ask them, so have you decided who is your spiritual master? They say yes. I said on what basis? Because he's always available for me. That's what Guru is for. Should be always available to you. Right. So Guru should love you, not Krishna. Forget Krishna, no love disciple. Be after disciple. That is not the right way of looking. Yes, we should think like this. If I have any major problem in life, then I need guidance. So my Guru Maharaj should be there for me. And if he does that, then he's doing his duty properly. You know. But not for every small thing he has to be there. Okay, Tulasi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu pranams. So my query relates to the comment where spiritual emotions are too strong for the material body. Is it like a correct understanding to say this is the reason why the jiva is kind of not interacting directly? We go via the subconscious, the chitta. The jiva is actually asleep.
Jiva is actually?
Is that right? Asleep or not interacting with the material body.
Jiva is asleep only.
Yeah.
Means asleep in the sense Jiva is not really involved. What is involved is the ahankar. It's like identification that is there. Otherwise, what is the Jiva doing? You are spiritual. How can you do anything in material environment?
Mm.
You can't. But you are just getting involved. Like to give you a very interesting example. Have you watched movies, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Many.
Many, right? So let's say when you are a young girl, now of course those things might have gone away. But when you are a young girl and you watched a movie and you saw a favorite actor on the screen, dancing with his girlfriend, did you sometimes imagine being that girlfriend?
Yeah, you superimpose yourself into it.
You try
Yes.
to impose yourself. I wish I could be in this scene, I could be this. should be happening with me. So what are you doing there? You're just sitting in the chair actually. The actor is not with you. That scene is not with you. That reality is not with you. But what are you doing? You're trying to impose yourself on that character.
Mm.
So did you move an inch from the reality of your life? No. But in your mind, you really move a lot. You're
Correct.
imagining
Yeah.
stuff. That's what happens to us as a conditioned soul.
Okay. Thank you, bro.
That's what exactly happens to us. So things are happening here. We have just put our mind on it and started identifying with it. But actually, we are not doing anything. We are aloof from it. Right. So this is called investing your consciousness. So when you're sitting in the chair watching the movie, you invest your consciousness in that character, and then you start identifying yourself as that character. Mm. Similarly, we do that. Have you played video games? Sometimes you played video games.
Maybe just once or twice, bro. Yeah.
Okay, because you're
Mm.
in women's body, no? So women they don't play much, but yes, men they play video games or boys. So I've seen people play video games. So in that video game, if let's say the character whom you are controlling with the mouse or the what do you call it? The play stick
Remote.
remote. So if that character is supposed to kick, sometimes while playing, you also start kicking. Have you seen people do that? Uh, they're sitting in front of the screen and they want that character to kick, but along with the character kicking, they also start kicking. So what is this? This is like you're so engrossed in it. They have started thinking that as your reality. So that's what happens with the conditioned soul. It gets so engrossed in the external thing that this is the whole reality. But actually, nothing is happening. That's all Maya.
The Prabhu manifestation people workshop do that is not real.
That is everyone who are asking, everyone who desire whatever they get it, they say so confidently, things manifested in my life. So what manifested? Few things manifested, everything manifested. No. So then it's karma basically. You get what you're supposed to get. You don't get what you're not supposed to get. Even if you think about it, it will not manifest. Those people who so much say about manifestation, tell them tomorrow we'll have an exercise where you have to imagine that you have become a bird and there are wings on your back and you're flying in the sky. Will it manifest? Not in this life. Maybe next life when we become a bird, then it will manifest, isn't it? So manifestations, it's again a way of cheating people. It is true. If you put your attention on something, then that thing becomes more likely to be achieved by you. But that doesn't mean that whatever you start desiring, it will just manifest. So there is something known as focus that is good. But just this blind manifestation, that doesn't work. Manifestation, people they say, right, whatever you desire, then things will get arranged. Why? Again, the same question, is Krishna your servant? He'll arrange everything. So stop here. Thank you very much. See you next week.